Every summer, millions of families load up the cooler, head to the cookout, and watch the fireworks. And for a lot of parents, that sounds wonderful. But if you have got a child who covers their ears the second fireworks starts, who spirals after eating poolside snacks, and who is a completely different kid for the days after the 4th of July, this holiday probably isn't the highlight of your summer. It's something you quietly dread. Now, here's what I want you to know right now. Your child's meltdown isn't a behavior problem. It isn't about being spoiled, and it isn't about your parenting. It is a nervous system problem, and the research finally tells us exactly why it happened and what we can actually do about it, right? So this video is going to be for parents who are exhausted from watching their child fall apart at events and that are supposed to be fun, and who are ready to stop guessing and start understanding what's really happening inside their child's brain and body. Now, here's what I'm going to be covering today. Now, first of all, why red dye number 40 does far more than cause a sugar rush, and why the science on this is actually more alarming than most parents even realize. Why fireworks and sensory-heavy environments are a neurological event and not just an overstimulation issue, and how these two stresses hit the same system at the same time. They create more chaos within your child's nervous system, which it wasn't built to handle, and why some kids fall apart at the fireworks show while others love it, and what the difference actually is. And we're also going to give you a path forward on what you can actually do starting right now to help your child genuinely regulate, not just survive this holiday, right? Now, we see this every single summer. A parent's going to come in after the 4th of July and they say some version of the same thing. We had a great morning and then it just fell apart. The popsicles, the sports drinks at the cookout, the fireworks at 9 p.m. and within minutes, their child is screaming, inconsolable, and completely unreachable. They have disrupted sleep and their elevated behavior lasting for days. Now, here's what surprises most families when we explain it, that nothing really went wrong in the way that they're thinking, right? Now, a landmark Lancet randomized control trial actually found that the artificial food colors significantly increased hyperactivity in children across all age groups. This ended up prompting the EU to regulate and require warning labels and the FDA to actually take additional actions on Red 40 in 2025. And California's own health assessments actually confirmed that these dyes can cross the blood-brain barrier in developing children. See, that red popsicle at noon wasn't just sugar. It was actually a chemical that was priming the nervous system for overload hours before the fireworks even started. So what does red dye number 40 actually do to your kids, right? So red dye number 40 is the most widely used artificial food coloring in the United States, and it's every 4th of July party. The popsicles, sports drinks, candies, ketchup, fruit snacks, flavored yogurt, you name it. Now, the control trial that was actually done by the Lancet actually found that the artificial food colors significantly increased hyperactivity in children across all age groups, and not just with kids with ADHD. It actually ended up prompting the EU to require warning labels. And in 2021, there was a review by, I can never pronounce this appropriately, the OEHHA actually review confirmed that the artificial food colors can cross the blood-brain barrier and directly affect neural signaling in children whose nervous systems are still developing. That's right, affect neural signaling. This is something that they admitted. So red dye number 40 doesn't just cause hyperactivity, it actually triggers neuroinflammation. It's going to disrupt neurotransmitter function, and it causes intestinal permeability, leading to that leaky gut, right? Now, roughly 80% of vagus nerve fibers carry information from the gut to the brain, right? So when red dye number 40, we're just going to call it red 40 moving forward. So when red 40 actually starts disrupting gut function, it directly disrupts nervous system regulations. This is not just a food issue, it is a neurological one, right? So now adding on to that, why do fireworks and sensory overload trigger these meltdowns, right? Think of the autonomic nervous system like a traffic control system. In a well-regulated nervous system, sensory input flows smoothly. The brain filters what matters and dampens what doesn't. And the 4th of July celebration is a full sensory assault, right? The fireworks are going on at 150 plus decibels, the fire engine sirens, crowds, flashing lights, smoke, heat, and the disrupted sleep schedule all at once. So when the nervous system is already dysregulated, the gas pedal is floored, the brake pedal is barely working. This input then creates a massive neurological traffic jam, and the child melts down, tries to escape, or shuts down completely. Common signs of sensory overload would include covering ears at fireworks, refusing to eat, aggression, clinginess in crowds, emotional breakdowns during or after the event, and sleep disruption for days afterwards, right? This meltdown isn't about fireworks, because guys, I love fireworks, right? It is about a nervous system that is already overwhelmed before the family left the house. The fireworks are just the final straw. Now, why do some kids react and other kids don't, right? Two kids will eat the same red popsicle, one is fine, the other spirals. Two kids watch the same fireworks, one loves it, the other breaks down. The difference isn't willpower or even parenting, right? It's the nervous system. We call this the perfect storm, right? This is something we see in our office all the time. The perfect storm is this combination and accumulation of prenatal stress, birth trauma, and early childhood stresses that actually accumulate and disrupt neurological development from the very beginning of life. Each layer, the difficult delivery, early antibiotic usage, chronic ear infections, colic, reflux, creates subluxation, this neurological interference that starts disrupting the function, regulation, and adaptability of the nervous system, right? This will lead to dysautonomia, which is this imbalance between the sympathetic, which is the gas pedal, and the parasympathetic, which is the brake pedal. It's going to leave your child without the neurological reserves to handle what other kids handle easily. Now, management strategies work, but they can only go so far if the nervous system has a hole in it, right? You can bail water all day and still be sinking because the real work happens at the foundation. Now, when the chemical and the sensory hit at the same time, this is what we call the double assault, right? So, for example, the Red Dot 40, the Red Dot 40 loaded popsicles at noon with the fireworks at 9 p.m., the crowds, the sirens, everything in between. The child that walked into the party already running on a nervous system deficit gets hit. This is what we call the double assault, right? The artificial dyes attack from the chemical side, starts disrupting the gut, triggering inflammation, compromises the gut-brain axis. Sensory overload from the fireworks and the crowds can attack from the neurological side, floods the brainstem with input. Now, flooding the brainstem with input a dysregulated nervous system just simply cannot process, right? They both hit the same target, the autonomic nervous system and the vagus nerve. And when they hit simultaneously, the combined effect is far greater than either one alone. This is why so many parents say that their child is a completely different kid for days after the 4th of July. The nervous system is in a prolonged recovery state, not just a single bad side. So, with all that being said, we do want to point a path forward to you so that way you have paths to restore normal, nervous system regulation function. So, short-term strategies are very important. Read labels, avoid red 40, yellow 5, yellow 6, bring noise canceling headphones, have a quiet exit plan. This would be very, very important. Protect sleep, but these will only manage the load. They don't mix the foundation, right? This is where the inside scan technology that we use in our office is going to come in, where the conversation then starts to change regarding, things like heart rate variability, surface EMG, thermal scans. A neurologically focused chiropractic can actually get an objective, measurable picture of how your nervous system is actually functioning. The scans that we use, guys, they're called insight scans. They basically identify the exact area where your nervous system is stuck in sympathetic overdrive, where vagus nerve function is impaired, and where subluxation patterns are creating interference. So one thing I really do want to emphasize today is that neurologically focused chiropractic care is not a cure for any condition. What we do is to work at restoring the underlying regulation that affects how children process their environment, so that when the brake pedal actually starts working alongside the gas pedal, parents consistently see changes that go far beyond surviving a holiday. So we're not just helping kids cope with a dysregulated nervous system, we're actually working to regulate the nervous system itself. So when the foundation shifts, sleep, digestion, transitions, and sensory tolerance all shifts with it. So if this is connecting dots that you've been trying to piece together for months or years, I want you to know that your child isn't too sensitive. The nervous system is telling you exactly what it needs. And there is a path forward. So it starts with getting an objective look at how the nervous system is actually functioning. So click the link in the bio, send us a DM, or schedule directly with us so that we can figure out what's really going on with you and your child. Because this 4th of July, your family deserves more than just survival mode. They deserve answers and a way forward.